Michael, how you going?
Yeah, good, Dan.
Number 83, would you believe that?
They're ticking away, aren't they? Getting close to the triple figures.
Yeah.
So we were just saying, we'll have to crack a little bottle of something or other.
17 to go.
Whiskey, champagne, just depending on how the market goes over the coming few weeks. But yeah, we're ticking along. Amazing how quickly the time goes. Isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
actually, I had lunch at the Downs Club today with Wilson's, and it was quite good. And it reminded me of when we had a Christmas party there one year, how we snuck out to the back bar and had a few of those scotches on Mr. Dornbush. It was quite good.
That was very generous of them, wasn't it? Absolutely. It's a good little spot up there too, isn't it? Yes. I guess, again, a good segue, Dan, into the Wilson upcoming IPO. You were lucky enough, to go and have a bit of a listen to Jeff. He's got a new offering out at the moment.
It's quite good, isn't it? I think Macquarie did, when these guys were Macquarie, did Wilson Asset Management. That was some years ago now, and it's proved to be a pretty good investment. He's looking at one called Leaders, looking at raising $165 million. What's interesting, Michael, is, they're not going to be sector specific on anything. They're going to find stocks that they reckon have something about them that can make money and make their money and move on.
And the track record's there, isn't it? I mean, WAM Capital, it's had a tremendous history, hasn't it, since Scare coming out in '99. I think we did some numbers off one of the websites, around about 17% per annum, which is tremendous. Roughly 8 to 10% above the All Ords accumulation index. So the track record's there. Yeah, absolutely. So
Michael, he's got that 4 points, hasn't he? Where it's all about the make money for the shareholders, respect the shareholders, communicate with the shareholders, and I think that really flows through, in his track record, hasn't it? So.
It has, and having, we were lucky enough just to have him in the office there before. He's a good, soul-to-the-earth bloke. He and Kate Thorley.
His CEO.
They come in, they're straight shooters, they're not here to muck around. Again, they've got the runs on the board. If there is an interest out there, so Wilson Leaders, another listed investment company, or a LIC, a LIC, coming out shortly. So hopefully we're going to be able to get our hands on a bit of that stock, and we'll be able to offer it.
I spoke to him about Glennon too. I mean, one of his philosophies is it keeps increasing that dividend, and we saw with Glennon, pretty similar philosophies there, aren't they? Like, he's come out, what was he listed for? 7 months, 8 months, and he paid a dividend sort of straight up. And he communicates with the shareholders every month. So, you've got a good idea what these guys are doing then, don't you?
Absolutely. And particularly, again, these pooled investments where, there's a bit of a mix mash of all sorts of different things.
Yes.
And, sometimes shareholders, if they're not getting that communication, they sort of look at it and go, well, what am I invested in? So, but you bring up a good point, Dan. The dividend is so enticing, isn't it? People get very sick of investments if there's nothing, no return coming back to them.
It's got to be growth or dividend.
So having that dividend paid into your bank account, no one can take that back off you once it's there, and it's very enticing for shareholders. And those WAM funds, they're all paying upward of 6%. Fully franked at the moment, so hopefully this new one is of similar calibre. So, And yes, Dan, you've been looking at that little company you've been looking at?
Little tech stocks. That's why I wasn't here, Michael, yesterday. That's why you were on your pat.
Oh, it's been a long day. It really has.
So I went to a smaller companies conference yesterday, and it was Tech Now. And it's really good, those little company conferences. You get a bit of an idea of what's sort of coming in the future. And one there, and they've presented before, but they've progressed a lot further now, is ResApp. And they've basically got an app in your phone that you can cough into, and it'll tell you what your respiratory problem is. It's just unbelievable that the accuracy is up in the 90s. And it was started in Queensland University, believe it or not. So it's I don't think it's a fly-by-night thing, this one. They're trying to get Food and Drug Administration sign-off in the US. But over there's some, I can't remember the number, but it's crazy amount of telephone doctor consultations are done.
Yeah.
And 30% of those consultations are for respiratory problems. So this app will just fit right into what they're doing there. So doc will say, cough into your app, oh, you got bronchitis, son. And, email the prescription off to the chemist, email you your 3 days off work or whatever you do and say, that's $70, what's your credit card number?
Just extraordinary, isn't it, the applications through here. We're talking about now doctors coming to your home and giving you, the once over, but, these sorts of things.
Just Skype it.
Yeah.
Doc, I'm green around the gills.
Absolutely extraordinary. So, no, that's an interesting one. So they're trading on the market now, Dan?
They're trading on the market. Yeah, 6 months ago they were 3 cents. I think they peaked up at about 30, 32 or 33 back in the low 20s. It might take another 6 months or so to get the sign-off from the US. I think that'll see their share price drift lower. So I'd be sort of hoping, 18 cents down to 15 cents maybe. I think that would be a good entry on those ones.
Yeah, and a good little speculator in that sort of that.
And that's what it is. It's a penny dreadful. So tech, spec stock.
Very good. Yeah, no, I've been having a bit of a look at Nine Entertainment. They came out with their third quarter trading update yesterday, and subsequently got smashed afterwards. Revenue down about 11%.
Just a bad day for it.
Terrible day. Revenue down about 11% from the same time last year. But big problems with the cricket revenue. Bad weather. Supposedly they lost around about 30% of the cricket playing days, so they lost a fair bit of revenue there. But also, what was the other show? Renault Rumble apparently caused them a fair bit of grief as well.
There you go.
So Nine Entertainment, about 80% of its money comes from TV revenue, so the 11% drop, probably equates to about a 30% drop in the bottom line.
Yep.
But it was only a trading update, so it wasn't a result as such.
Market didn't like it though, Michael.
Market hated it. It went from $1.50 to $1.15, I think. So so there was subsequently about a 30% drop in the share price, which reflects the guesstimated 30% drop in earnings. But there's about 50 million in the bank at the moment, and I think there's about another 70 million coming from one of the sale of the stations coming through. So maybe worth a look at.
League would be pulling good numbers, you'd think.
Yeah, that's right. And I think Nine still has roughly 37% of the TV watching environment, I suppose.
Okay.
So maybe one to look at whilst it's had the stuffing kicked out of it. I must admit, we haven't really been fans of media stocks here for a long time.
Tens always seem to struggle, Michael, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, but anyway, might be one to have a look at. Might be a bit of upside, but only not for the faint-hearted. No. That's for sure. Reserve Bank out yesterday too, Dan. No real surprise. Interest rates on hold. I think, what was it, 11 months now in a row, something like that.
2%. Amazing.
Yeah, 2%. Exactly extraordinary. You talk to people back that were borrowing money in the late 80s, early 90s, and
18% for their home loan. Yeah.
So,
I can remember typing out mortgage documents for a cane farmer for his overdraft at 22.5%. It's unbelievable.
Oh, that's got to hurt. Brings a tear to the eye, doesn't it?
It does.
Interestingly, Reserve Bank really now starting to caution about the Aussie dollar strengthening, and subsequently it's not so much the Australian economy going ahead in leaps and bounds, but it's probably more the weakening in the US economy.
Yep.
So the Reserve Bank really now looking at that strengthening Australian dollar, particularly against the US dollar. So still a lot of people out there thinking that we're due for another interest rate cut at some stage.
I really think the Reserve Bank is hoping that they put their rates up over there. They drag some of the money out of Australia back to the US.
Absolutely, and that's it. I mean, 76, 77 Aussie dollar to US dollar does us no favours, being a commodity exporting, country. High Aussie dollar, unless you want to go overseas and have a trip or buy something on the internet from overseas, it really doesn't do us any favours. So it'd be good to see it around the 70s, even the high 60s.
Yeah, 68.
And I guess too, the other thing, Dan, interestingly, and we'll wrap up in a moment, but US companies going back into reporting season again. They're a bit more regular than us. They report every quarter. But they've now gone into a period where the companies can't buy their own shares back on the market. For 2016, roughly about $160 billion of shares have been bought back by the owning company as such. And if you look at 2015 for the entire year, it was about 150 billion.
Wow.
So in 3 months, they've already eclipsed that. So there's a bit of concern that if the reporting season doesn't sort of meet these expectations, we could see a little bit of a choppy ride over the coming weeks and months. But we'll cross those bridges as we get to them.
Our market might be a bit of a reverse to that, Michael, leading up into the banks. Reporting in May, so
yeah, be a lot of focus on the banks, won't there,
yes,
over the coming weeks? So, and they've been in the news again for all the wrong reasons. Last couple of weeks with increasing in provisions. I see today even that Westpac's in trouble regarding the manipulation of the bank bill swap rate.
Yes.
They're
pleading innocent, though. I see.
Oh, of course, Didn't do a thing wrong, sir.
That's it.
But I think that wraps us up today.
I think so, Mark. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.